Okay, so what's the date today? This is my second attempt to do this, okay? I already did a whole bunch of videos, but I ended up deleting it because of this up here, right? You know, when I'm getting into my dashboard and this and that, and then, you know, right, and you end up getting, I should actually put another little piece of tape there just so it doesn't fall down, but you'd need the whole string just to be able to try and hack into Google through YouTube, right? I'm just saying. So that's why I decided just to say to heck with it, let those ones go and redo this again in terms of talk about a playlist, how to create a playlist. This is directly being forwarded to Lady Jane in terms of she asked me how to make a playlist because she didn't know how. So I am going to do this for my second time around. So the first thing I want to point out is, has anyone noticed? I told you that would happen. That's what happens on YouTube for me. Some of it's trolls. Yeah, for sure. Some of it is, I know it's AI people, okay? With the shadow banning and whatever else that they do with their dirty pool when it comes to YouTube staff. And you know, they allow some to be successful and while others, right? If you want to consider that to be a judgment of success, but besides that point. All right, so the first thing we want to do, Lady Jane, is find our playlist. Okay, so if you go into your dashboard, right? Here's your channel dashboard. Now, this is a computer screen, okay? I use a PC, right? I don't use cell phone, so I don't know how it works on a cell phone, but I'm sure you can figure it out once you know what you're looking for. Plus, you probably have a PC because I notice you tend to edit your videos, so I'm assuming you have a PC. Either or. You go to your dashboard, right? Then you go into content. Where's my finger? Oh, my Lord. And, of course, my eyes are getting worse, right? We know that. Now we're going to go into content, okay? And then what happens is here, now also keep in mind, YouTube every few years, however many years in between, they change their format. They change how their pages are presented to you. They change or add or delete features that you may had before and come back one day and you don't have them the next day. Or they switch them around, or you have to go look for them, like in terms of your, to be able to plug into your playlist through your dashboard, your personal interactive, whereas last 2-3 years ago, how many years ago, they used to have them in here. They used to have them on this side, okay? And then they switched them up, took them out of there, and they're listing them here. And you used to be able to come in here and be able to open playlist from there, but now you have to do it almost like from a video as far as I'm concerned, and I'll show you how to do it. So in the meantime, we've got the videos, which I have a few shorts from Shimei's cell phone when she was, you know, recording Julian with his antics, so that if it ever had to go to court, which it was going to court, to get her name put on the birth certificate because she was tricked and somebody picked a fight with her at the time it was being filled online, and she turned her face and the other person beside her pushed send, and so when the birth certificate came to the house, it only had Johnson on it, no Chorney. So right at the time of when she got murdered, okay, she was making plans to take Julian to court, and if he was going to get up there and said, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that, she said she had the videos, proof to prove otherwise, and she was right. So that's there, basically. Okay. I've done a few lives. My computer, you know, processor is not strong enough to run a good live, so I tend to get a lot of flashing, and plus, you know, I don't do them enough, so I'm not that great at them, but besides that point. In terms of posts, I don't know what's in posts. Why don't we just take a boo? What is this? posts. I don't know. This looks, I don't know what this is. Anyway, we don't have time for that, but besides that point, now we're going to go into playlist. Okay, so I did the math. I went to, okay, so what you do is you open up now my last video that I just did that I deleted because I had that shit running in it, right? I opened up this particular playlist for the year of 2022 to give Lady Jane an example of how I did it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to a different year. I think we should do maybe a safe number would be something like 2017 or something like that, right? And start fresh, and then I'll show you how to create that for yourself within your channel content, right? That can plug you into your list of playlists as you create them. Currently, I have 43 different playlists. Where am I? Okay, you go to the bottom of this playlist page, right? You have a choice of looking at 10, 30, or 50. We're going to go to the max of 50. Now, I don't know if that's... I don't think there is a limit as to how many playlists you have, and I don't think they have a limit to how many videos you can put into a playlist. Whereas other people, like other websites, they'll limit your playlists if they're not trying to get you to pay for it. The problem with paying for it is when you're someone like me and you pay and you pay and you pay, and then your life fades away and you become insignificant and everything really goes off to the wayside. Whatever you were paying for to hold it up on the server all those years, if somebody behind you doesn't come up and continue to pay that fee so that your playlist can remain, the company itself, right, the web server, right, they're going to delete your playlist. Whereas on YouTube, the only thing you have to really worry about after you're gone is that somebody hopefully plugs into your channel every 2 years to keep it active. Otherwise, if it goes active, YouTube has changed their terms and policies and has stated that they can delete the whole account because it's been inactive for over 2 years. But I think it's at the discretion at this point with YouTube. Because Shimei's videos are still out. There's, you know, whatever, right? I don't always get back to these things. There's her first original YouTube channel that Brooks made, because Shimei actually has 2 YouTube channels. Lost the password, and she didn't show no interest in it for a long time, right? So when she tried to get the password for it, she never got it. So she ended up opening up another YouTube channel. That's why she has 2 with her name coming up. Okay, so I went for 50. You can see how many we got here, Lady Jane. Okay, I don't know if that's all 43 or 4. I think it's 44 now because I created that new one, right? That's no, because, so here we go. 1 of 44. So I have 44 playlists in here with the most recent. We'll bring it back up to 10. Should bring me to the one that I just created to show you how to do it. Okay? It's right there. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new one. What's hanging here? Something's... Oh, hold on a minute. Okay. That thing fell down. Yeah, so I put some more tape up there. So, as I was saying, because I had to watch the video, and I don't think much was seen outside of maybe some of it. Besides that point. Alright, it's not a big deal. YouTube's a big corporation. All right, so now what we're going to do, so we're still in playlists. The last one that I created was with my last video that I deleted because I had those things running through it. But the playlist is here, but I'm not going to be adding into it at this point. Okay, now I have other ones, so now the reason that you want a playlist, we're going to go into content now. Okay, this is my last video, Depression is Real, Not a Hockey Puck. You know what, people? I know it's none of my business, and I don't even like the woman, because I think she's just I don't want to be rude either. Let me just put it to you this way. Latrice Allen has some very, very, very depressed kids. Okay? No, seriously. I'm going to just leave it on that for now. Okay? Because that's not what we're talking about. So in the meantime, this is my most recent video. I mean, I'm nobody to cast stones here. My whole family is depressed. That's why they're hauling and screaming and carrying on like freaking lunatics half the time. Gotta cut them fucking loose. Sorry, boo-boo loose. Oops. But besides that point. Alright. So I brought it to here, okay? Like to the end, okay? And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go, this is the top of the content for the videos that are being uploaded in, okay? And now we have to hunt for this mouse that's been hijacked by that AI. I don't know. It's like that little white part just goes dark. Okay. Again, they give you a choice of 30 videos or 50 videos. I'm going to choose 50 videos because I've got 2,700 or more videos. 2,700 videos plus. So now what we're going to do, Lady Jane, is we're going to open up a new playlist, but I think I'm going to take it back to 2013 because I know I'm halfway through 2012. So if I pick up with 2012, it won't be long before I get into 2013. And what's so important about 2013 is because Andre, my firstborn grandson, was illegally apprehended by the Ministry of Children and Family Development and basically destroyed Sierra's life forever. Yeah. And then when we think about why my family is depressed, where it becomes chronic, right? And it leads into dysfunction and attachment disorders and all other kind of crazy crap. You know, it's not easy going through what we went through in 2013 just to get Andre back. So we're going to take this now. We're in 2024. And I'm going to open up a playlist from 2013. So it's going to take me a minute to go back. So you have to go back to the top of the page because we're going at every 50. Now this is why, Lady Jane, you want to do your playlist on the fly so that you don't have to backtrack like me. Right? To create one for the years that you've been on YouTube. Unless, of course, you plan on deleting your channel and you don't care if your videos get lost in the fray. Whereas my videos is like a storybook, like a story, a series. It's like a series, you know, like you start with the one book and then you end up getting series around it, where every page in correlation to every video is part of that story. Right? Now, I've been on YouTube since 2009. I've talked about a lot of different kind of stuff. I've had something like, 35 videos, 40, maybe 20, 30, no, more than 30 videos removed off of YouTube. I've had my channel taken away from me. It just woke up one morning and it was gone. And it was I didn't think I'd get it back, because that's what YouTube does to truthers, I guess you can say. They just take their channels and they never get them back. Well, for whatever strange reason, they gave me back my YouTube channel 2.5 months after they took it, by just simply saying they made a mistake. Yeah. That's when I started BitChute. So, you know, I've lived a very active life with my family. And, you know, anything that I've been doing on YouTube is on the fly. So it's not like I had a mission in mind as I was making the videos, but in hindsight, I think that's what they call it, I should have made my yearly playlist from year to year to year to year, so that I wouldn't have to backtrack and do it like I am now, because I really don't get a lot of time to do it. Okay, so where are we? What year? Oh, we're in 2020. Do you see that? And I want to go all the way back to 2000. Now, you see, this is another thing why you want a playlist, because if you don't have these videos from 2020, 2019, 18, 17, 16, blah, blah, all the way up until the beginning of your channel already in playlists, people who come to your channel will not see them. Even if they Google the name, the title of the video, if YouTube is shadow banning your videos, your video won't come up with the correct title. It will be shadow banned and buried. But if you put it in a playlist, well, it's always going to be in a playlist, right? Unless, of course, YouTube removes it. So okay, so we'll just do this a couple more times. You can see I'm having to go to the top, find my mouse, bring it back down, right? Go back 50 more. You know, I got to do this all the way up until 2013. Okay, right now we've got, where am I? Where's my finger? Here it is. Right now we're at between 800 and 850 videos, just between 2024 up until February 21st of 2020. 800 videos so far. Okay, right? Like I said, this will change the closer I get to 2,700. The last video, the first video that was ever uploaded on YouTube, will read the official number in terms of videos. However, you gotta watch these live streams though, because they don't post the live streams in here. Anyway, that's something else. Okay, so let me get to 2013. Hold on a minute. As I'm doing this, I'm just going to talk for a minute, because, you know, I know, like, other YouTubers, you know, like Latrice Allen, for example, and that Roz Squad crap, right? You know, like, with their format in terms of how they run their channel, it's like they have to do X amount of videos a week, we'll just say, right, in order to be able to keep that traffic coming in partnership with YouTube. Okay, if they were to slow down with their rhetoric and their you know, woman pissing contest, who's better, who's less, who's worse, whatever, you know, I don't know, people. Okay, stay focused. It's because I'm thinking about going to 2013, but okay, so I'm going back to 2013 when they took Andre after they illegally evicted Sierra from her home with her support system, her money, her bed, her food, her family, her methadone, everything. They disconnected her just like that. Threw her out into the streets. It was December 12th of 2012. And by January 13th, or was it the 15th? Uncle John was the 13th, Andre was the 15th, either or. They illegally apprehended him from a daycare. And then it was 15 months of living hell. That's all documented, basically, minus the one or two videos that maybe YouTube took out because I was talking about CIBC Bank. And they didn't like what I had to say about the corruption within our banking systems. Yeah. So, when I'm gone, you know, I realize that my voice won't last, quote unquote, for 1,000 years. I'd like to think the foundation would, though, because that kind of provides a little bit of hope to people. Actually, human beings that are normal. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, where it becomes important is if you look at the tragedy that my family has had to go through because of greed, politics, which is a form of greed, ego in terms of like institutional racism and superiority complexes and overbearing we're only on 2017 overbearing authority, right? In terms of, you know, once people get to a position of authority, they don't want to let go of it, right? And, you know, I can't say that everybody's responsible with authority, because if that was the case, my family wouldn't have suffered as much as we have. And that's where the story, year by year by year, by incident by incident by incident, right, becomes important because it documents the destruction of a family, basically. And it should be as a warning. And that's why I do these videos, because it's a warning. That's how I justify it. I can't save the world, right? You know, I can't change the world. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand up against it and fight the corruption myself, even though I've tried it multiple times in court. Knucklehead, right? But I can warn people. I gotta stay focused. I can warn people, and that's what these videos are about, right? So it's important that, you know, at some point, somehow, some way, I get everything into a playlist, right? So, Lady Jane, that's my story with YouTube. Your story, I don't know. You started off on one foot, and now you're off on another foot, and you're kind of stuck in a rut, and that's why I'm doing this, to help you to organize it so that, you know, as you grow on YouTube, however you grow, right, you'll have a better footing to either delete your whole playlist and cut your losses, or develop your playlist so that whatever you do, people don't have to go hunting for it. And even if they have a title to your video, doesn't necessarily mean that by that time YouTube is going to support you and send traffic through the search engine when you Google a title on YouTube for a video, expecting for it to come up because it's the exact title, when in fact you won't see it because the company itself is shadow banning you by that point. Because a lot of YouTubers have been successful, and then, like, you know, I'm basing it on the larger YouTubers, right? I'm just the test ground for YouTube to fuck with people's heads with that psychological warfare. They like to test my responses in terms of their antics. Like, I have 120 views on a video, I come back tomorrow and I've got 98 because they shaved off 22. Like, or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then in the old days, it was the thumbs down, right? They made sure there was drama in my, because they also work in partnership with government. So if government is out to get you, that's just another means for them to target you, is through social media, and YouTube happens to be one of those social media. All right, so we're in 2014 now. So, okay. If you don't care, if nobody can see your past videos, who cares about a playlist? If you're trying to document what you've accomplished over the years while being on YouTube, then for sure, get up on it and start working on your playlist. You'll thank yourself in 5-10 years from now. And you're a young woman, so you could probably be on YouTube for a very, 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 very long time. Unless, of course, YouTube decides they don't like your new content and they're going to chop you off at the knees. Don't be surprised if they don't do it, Lady Jane. They like to give you rope so that you can hang yourself with it, literally. Or they like to give you the rope so they can reel it back in when they want to control the narrative. But currently, your narrative with your new subject is kind of I had a word and I lost it. Okay, so now we're in September of 2013. It's kind of deviant. You know, deviant, right? Bad, right? It's not wholesome. There's nothing wholesome about what your new content is about. And so in that kind of, though, goes in your favor when it comes to YouTube, because YouTube has a tendency to cater to Satanism. Anything that's bad is good. Anything that's good is bad. That's why my numbers are at 997 subscribers. And the max that I got a month and a half ago was what? 1,004 subscribers? I mean, come on, right? Well, your numbers are going up like mad because you're talking about lewd situations where you get rewarded for it, because it's like sex sells, right? Whether you're talking about it, is putting it into people's minds just so they can think about it, right? You know? Or whether you're a quote-unquote so-called reaction channel where you gotta put down somebody constantly as you try and elevate yourself to be more superior, right? That's what you teach other people to do. And then we wonder why everybody's practically a narcissist these days. And they abuse their parents, right? They're not, you know what I mean? There's something lacking in them. Because they're like, for example, I'm going to give you another example here, people. Was watching Latrice Allen. Now remember, that's the woman that I sent all my nonprofit to back in 2017. Asked her to help me to, you know, build on program development, right? She was doing back to school backpack drives or whatever. I sent her some shit and gave her all the information to the nonprofit, and she read it, and what she did is she took what I fucking wrote and she started importing it into her videos to you know, play the system. But she only played it for herself, right? She never played it for the community. She tries to act like she's community oriented, but she's not. She's just not, people. And so with that, I still am listening because I'm trying to, me, myself, I'm trying to understand YouTube. How is it that I sit here and talk about I'm talking about dire reality in terms of there is no affordable housing. I walked you through it with bug-infested freaking apartments that have been standing in the same spot for the last 60 years, going for $2,700 for a 3-bedroom apartment. That's bug-infested, mouse-infested, just whatever, right? And the only thing that's going to fill up those freaking apartment buildings, because I know I live there, are a bunch of single mothers, maybe a few refugee families, right, with their, coming in with the dad and the 6 kids from some refugee camp, and they plop them in there with all the rest of the refugees. But you got to have a large number of kids in order to be able to pay the rent, because the rent comes from the family allowance, basically. If the families didn't have the kids, they wouldn't have enough income in order to be able to pay the rent, everything else you got to pay in terms of bills, and then still buy food for the kids. Okay, so I know, because I've been there. I moved specifically into that building when I was working on the nonprofit for free, with no income, no welfare, no nothing, because my corrupt government cut me off of welfare illegally under legislation that wasn't even in effect. It hadn't even come its due date yet. Never mind, I didn't qualify under it in terms of whatever they were trying to do. They couldn't do it because there was no provision for, but they did it anyway. And now, fast track from 2000, and when they did that in 2003, it's now 2024, and I'm sitting here looking at homelessness when I leave this freaking house that basically sucked the life out of me, because of the greed and the corruption in my province, to which my government doesn't do jack shit about. Those are real stories with real consequences and with real future predictions in terms of the precarious, dire situation that I will be moving into with my family once the property, quote unquote, the good guys, the ones that do bad but are considered to be the good guys, come in here and tear down all these houses, kick everybody out into the street unless they get lucky and they can hook up with some city fucking program or some provincial program where they'll get subsidized housing, but my family won't. And I get 997 freaking subscribers on that, because it's too freaking real. Well, you got Latrice Allen. Let's get back to that bimbo, right? Okay? Running around trying to look like some Nova fucking Divia, as if, okay? In terms of, she's trying to lose weight, and she's putting on her sexy little dresses so that she can flaunt her ass in front of her homies. Because what makes her successful? I already said it before, people. So much for this, Lady Jane. I'm sorry. I'm stewing on it. What makes her successful? Well, first of all, she caters to a black crowd. Are there any white people in there? And if there are, do they even have a voice? And if they do have a voice with Latrice Allen, how long do you think their voice is gonna last? Come on, people. Same thing with freaking Raw Squad. It's just a bunch of black women standing in a freaking one, like on a football field. You got one group of black women over there because, the United States of America has got more than 40 million black people. Plus, these women can use this Cash App. They play the YouTube. They play the YouTube system. They hook into Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, wherever they hook themselves into, so they got more revenue, more people, or whatever, just looking at their bullshit crap, because that's basically what it is. And people are so full of bullshit themselves that they're so quick to follow the bullshit because, they're bored and they need more bullshit in order to be able to stimulate that dopamine in their brain, because without the bullshit going on in their fucking brain, it's like withdrawal. Serious, people, right? So you can rule out any white women in there having any kind of, I don't want to say authority, I don't want to say seniority, but how about maybe some respect, right? Seriously, because as it is, it's just a bunch of band of women between the two freaking whatever they are in terms of a YouTube successful fucking channel that, okay, when it comes to Latrice Allen, she been bumping her kids, bumping people. Okay, let's take it to the host role here. She's been bumping her kids, okay, ever since she got on fucking YouTube. I seen her original videos, people. I know her history from the time she put herself on YouTube. And just the way those children are today in terms of their behavior, in terms of how they communicate with her, there's something wrong. There you go, Raw Squad. Go run with that one. Do your dog walk. Yeah, for what it's worth, because you're the kind of woman, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, because I know you're creeping my fucking page. And if it ain't you, it's one of your girlfriends doing it. Because you got to take a little snippet of this and a little snippet of that, and then go and pour it into your raunchy shit to make it look like you're fucking smart, and you got game at the mouth. You're like a little 51-year-old, overinflated in terms of, right? Ready to pop. Freaking wannabe little gangster. Thinking they're a good role model for all the young women in the hood. Yeah. Well, you got Latrice Allen, got her kids on freaking lockdown, you know, calling her mother in one of her videos. I'm like, mother, where did that come from? Well, clearly that boy is afraid to say anything. Well, the little girl is pouting all the time. I'm just saying, right? Everybody walking on freaking eggshells. Wow, what a great family life. Was it worth it? Seriously, you don't even know. It hasn't even hit you yet, Latrice. Your kids are still young, Latrice. How old are you? 40? I'm 63. Right? Wait till they start really talking back to you. How are you going to control that one? Oh, get out, get out, get out. You're saying that to an 11-year-old? Get out? You're as bad as my fucking stupid daughter. Andre's going to grow up to be a bum. He doesn't go to school. He needs to go to school and learn how to make $4,000 a month, because that's the only way he's going to be successful. He's going to end up out under the tree like his mom. Yeah, okay. You kicking out an 11-year-old girl. Just put that fucking fear in her. Why? Why? Just saying. Right? But we know Raw Squad's going to pick up on that one, and she's going to act like she figured it all out for her freaking self. Oh, she's going on to some new family called, oh, what was that? A dysfunctional family. I'm like, okay. I Google on YouTube, right? Comes up. They've been on YouTube since like 2011. They have 123,000 subscribers. The woman basically is always just begging for people to subscribe and to thumbs up, right? She's not begging for donations, but she's begging for the subscribers and to watch the whole video and don't miss videos, because she's obviously relying on her ads to support her family. When she basically says nothing of substance, people. Talk about a boring fucking channel, but yet YouTube is forwarding all the traffic, the black women to their channels so that they can be dumbed down with that dopamine, you know, giving them a free high as they go out into fucking society thinking they're all that in a bag of chips, because they got fake hair, many of them fake fucking nails, when they're not mutilating their bodies because of their own personal low self-esteem. Yeah. I'm just saying. So, you know, do I care if I have 997 subscribers? No. What I care about is that I know there's a few pages ripped out of my book, people. I had no control of that. There will be a time, hopefully, assuming that I can see and I can fit it in, where I can take those videos that were all removed by YouTube and put them someplace where I can link them in, so that if you ever wanted to watch those few missing pages in the book, you could go find them. Other than that, you know, I'm going to work on my playlist. And Lady Jane, seriously, you know, if you plan on being on YouTube for any length of time with something that counts, with something that freaking counts, that has actual substance. You know, helping little Peter actually had substance. I don't want to drop the ball on little Peter, but I'm broke right now and I got to take care of my own family first. So I want to get this playlist thing out of the way so that you can start doing that for yourself, okay? And then, you know, I'm just going to plug. I got my wash machine I have to fix. I got to do something about this computer because it's not working correctly. And there's a port in the back that's not working with my speakers. I can't do lives on it. And it's infested with some kind of a virus that puts me on Yahoo browser all the time. I don't like it. And then, you know, I got Andre's teeth, right? There's something else in there I need to do. I can't remember. But what I can do, though, after I'm done this playlist, is I'm going to go back and do the, what is that called? The follow-up videos on the last 2 videos that you did when you went back and you gave Mama Peter the pressure canner, which practically made my heart explode because I was so afraid that she wouldn't know how to use it, never mind use it on open fire. But you reassured me that she does, so... I'm happy she has it. But I want to bring in the numbers. You might have to give me the crunch number down in terms of what it's going to cost to put in that floor. And perhaps the fence for the goats, with 1 or 2 goats included. Okay? Because you know, you sent me an email and, you know, I'm swamped, Lady Jane, and you know, I'm trying to just do until I can't do no more and not be afraid as to what the future is in front of me when I won't be able to see it. There's no other way to say it. That's part of my book, okay? Don't use Roz Squad, Rosalind or whatever her name is, as an example of being a motivational anything. She motivates people to be hateful and spiteful and jealous and vindictive. Okay, that's what she does. All right. She's self-serving, self-centered, and she's hoping she can buy an organ to replace what doesn't work in her body, because if she could buy one, she would. She's that type of character, people. I've said it before in my past video, and I'll say it again. Whatever chronicle story she's got to say, as she pulls on your sympathy cards because her body is falling apart, but she can keep you captured with that dopamine in your mind, with that gift of the gab that just really is like smut talk at the end of the day, as she convinces herself that she's a motivational speaker to have you go out and bully other people and beat up on them and compare yourself and always be in a pissing contest, and you know, just the whole whatever we're going through with our society today with a whole bunch of people, like, you know, it's only because she wants your donation. It's only because she wants the ad revenue. I wouldn't be surprised she doesn't come back with an organ. Yeah. Because I already figure she sided with the devil. And when you side with the devil, it's like a bad criminal. If you come to BC, British Columbia, Canada, you will do well if you are a criminal. And that's what my videos teach people. That's what my videos warn people about. how to determine and distinguish what represents the word criminal, because even though it's a government worker, quote unquote, regardless of what ministry they're under, they can still be a criminal. And that also applies to your policing departments, and so on, and so on, and so on. Okay? Well, we've got Latrice Allen got her kids on freaking lockdown, where they're basically afraid to make a mistake while they're being filmed by their mothers still after all these years, as YouTube runs the ads on those videos. But let me put the camera on Amari and talk about Amari. What do you think might happen on my video? You haven't seen Amari. You hear him all the time. He's bouncing around, probably getting into trouble right now, right? But if you notice, he hasn't been on camera for a while now, has he? No. And if I put him on camera, you know, I'm thinking, gee, Amari, you know, it's time to let everybody see how you're doing, right? And then, of course, I'm like, fuck Tamika. But, you know, maybe Lucy would like to see him. Or, you know, maybe Bailey would like to see him. And so on, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? Because he's part of the family. He's part of that story. Versus just hear him all the time. And then what? They want to comment and say how cute he is. And YouTube puts restrictions on there saying no comment. Because we're recording a disabled child that clearly is happy all the time. Because you can hear him. Well, you've got Latrice Allen up on freaking YouTube with her 137,000 or whatever she's got of subscribers, bumping her kids up on YouTube 24/7, as clearly they're being controlled to where their behavior is monitored, to where it's affecting their emotional growth, where whatever Latrice Allen is thinking is building in a form of perpetual depression, which is not a joke. It goes into the DNA, and it stays in the DNA if it's there long enough. And then it becomes generational. That's another thing my videos teach you. Right? This is how families become generational victims to being victimized by our professionals with no accountability. Okay? They don't talk about none of that crap. They're too busy putting on a farage. There's that word again. Latrice Allen, super mom of the century, in her sexy little outfit, got her kids all nice and polite and are, you know, basically little robots, except for when she wants them to smile. They don't want to smile as much as they used to when they were young. Yeah, when they were young. It's easy to raise kids when they're young. Wait until they get older. You're just coming into the freaking game. Take that one and talk about that one on your stupid channel for what it's worth. For all you gimme, 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 what does it get you? A whole band of depressed kids that can't hide it. Because, you know, the camera can see it. You can see it through the camera, through their behavior. And it's not about, well, they want this, they want that. Well, yeah, there was probably times you gave them too much shit, you know, in terms of this to keep them busy. And now that they're addicted to it, and they're caught up in it, who do you think's going to be in control in 5 years from now? You or the cell phone? Been there, done that. And then along comes in more criminals, and you can't stop it. And then you'll find one of your kids dead. But what will ring loud in everybody's head will be the day that you kept saying, oh, well, if you don't smarten up and put a smile on your face, I'm going to kick your ass out when you turn, what, 18 or is it 19? She's 11 years old. Maybe she doesn't like her hair being pulled and putting all this poison on her with this spray and that rub and burning it into the hair dryer and, you know, pulling and just, it's like, maybe she just wants to have free hair and let it curl on its own like dreads. You don't know. What you gonna do? Make her wear braids for the rest of her life as you're telling your sons to put on freaking cologne so they can smell good, as you get your kids washing their fucking shoes so that you can go out in public and act like you're so much better than everybody else? That's something Tisha would do. That's something Tisha would do. Yeah. And when I call Tisha on that shit, you. Yeah, well, at least it's not fake, right? Comes a time when shit just becomes too fake. Anyway, I don't know if Latrice Howland has a playlist. I don't even think Roz Squad has a playlist. Because at the end of the day, they want their words to become obsolete because they really don't have nothing good to say about anything other than maybe what they can get for themselves. Yeah. And the few little trinkets that they give away every now and then to make them appear like they're popular. Yeah. So I'm going to open up a new page. I'm curious to see if they have a playlist, being that that's supposed to be the subject, right? So when I leave, and I'm not doing videos no more because I'm not around to do it,
how you gonna do your right
hopefully my kids
out with cold water. See, I got my
hopefully my kids will have a backbone. Hopefully my kids will have a backbone and just leave them up as is in real time and gain strength from their struggle over that period of years. I didn't do it all by myself. We're all still struggling. That's what that last video was about. Right? I don't expect to be the only one that's depressed in this house. Not for the things that my family has gone through. Hell no. Okay, so she's got, this is Latrice Allen. She's got one video in a thing called Workout, 13 videos in a thing called Gospel, 6 videos in a thing called Storm, 29 videos with a new song, and 40 videos my music. So clearly she doesn't use playlists to keep track of her story. No. Because that's the thing, she doesn't have a story. She's too busy bumping. Whether it's her own kids or, in their lingo, bitches and hoes. Don't forget, you gotta add in the hoe. So they can sound big and bad and connect with the youth in the community that are black like them. Because that's the only reason they have a fucking large following, is because they're sitting up in the United States of America with 40 million other black people plus, right? Acting like gangster bitches as one's practically dying, waiting for a organ by any means necessary. Don't tell me if she couldn't afford to buy one, she wouldn't, whether it was on the black market or not. And that's just the way I feel about it. Yeah, that's just the way I feel about it. Because she's really got nothing good to say about anything other than, what, some bragging rights about something. Anybody can brag. I got lots of shit I could brag about. Maybe if I bragged about for all the things I have, I'd be more grateful that I have them. Maybe that would fix my depression. All I have to do is brag. Okay, so now we're just looking here. I'm going to have to do this in 2 parts, Lady Jane, because I kind of veered off. I did a Lady Jane. I veered off onto left field all of a sudden. Where did this all come out of? I don't want you making the same mistakes. I don't want you making the same mistakes I made by not putting my shit in playlists when I had an opportunity to do it as it was being done in real time, and you have to backtrack like, you know, me now. Okay, you want to avoid that. And honestly, I don't want you making the same mistakes as these other black women. Because people are going to judge you by your color first before they judge you by your ethnic heritages in terms of they're African American and you're African. So somehow that's supposed to make you different. But it doesn't. Not in the great grand scheme of institutional racism and corporate greed and who is the underdog and who is the upper dog. And so yeah, what's her name here? Rosalind. She has no playlist. So she whatever gab she's giving you, she doesn't give a shit about it, people. Because if she cared about what she had to say, she'd have a playlist in there so that if you wanted to, you could go back to the first video and see what this woman was really about. But she doesn't care if her videos disappear into the abyss. All she cares about is keeping that dopamine going like crazy in all these mad women's minds, with a few males in there, I suppose, right? To foster ill will. Well, she puts herself in some victim position now. Oh, woe is me. I got arthritis. I'm 51. Oh, woe is me. My hip is bugging me. Oh, woe is me. I'm 51. And now I'm looking for maybe getting an organ. And oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. But yet you're clocking a Glock. Okay. Yeah, right. Like, how stupid is that? Well, don't come stepping to you. You're gonna pop me off. Yeah, okay, pop me off. As if anyone would be interested in you outside of YouTube being YouTube's bitch. Basically, giving YouTube, that satanic entity, what it wants. That's the only reason those women are successful. Yeah. They play on the black people in the United States of America. They know how to work all the different little social media things through their cell phone. Plus, they have the privilege of having being able to use a Cash App. We're in Canada. We don't have a Cash App out here. So, maybe that's why YouTube decided just to push me off like some punk bitch, because they know that I can't do Cash Apps and that kind of stupid shit on their stupid freaking website to compete with stupid other people that clearly will disappear into the abyss one day just by a delete button, or letting their videos disappear into the abyss because anything and everything they got to say is a whole bunch of freaking bullshit. Where mine is not bullshit. Did I say it all in the right way? No, not necessarily. Did I cuss along the way? Yeah, I did. You would too, if the things happened to you like they've happened to my family. And because it has happened, that's more reason to keep it up there and get it organized and keep the good fight going as a warning for other families. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched, because the way I'm looking at it right now, knowing what I've been through with my kids, it's not going to be no cakewalk for, in this situation, Latrice Allen, because her kids are already depressed. And she needs to realize that. How she wants to deal with it? Good luck. I got my own problems. I got my own depressed kids. Right? As for Rosalind teaching her daughters how to be like her, as they put themselves on a pedestal, talking about how one is a lawyer and I don't know about the other one, but like who, right? Yeah, okay. Sounds like you came out of a, what are those things called? Trap house. Sounds like they're running a freaking trap house. So I guess if they get busted, they got a lawyer on site, and somehow it makes it okay, right? But then you see again, that's what YouTube likes. Trashy shit. Trash sells, sex sells, satanic bullshit crap buys you into the cool crew. So who needs a playlist? You're already successful. You've got nothing to say other than for what you got to say at that moment. And how much you can get. While those few videos that somebody might find as you go down, right? Because sooner or later they stop. And if you can't find them in a playlist, good luck. Anyway. I think I should start fresh. Yeah. So, Lady Jane, you have to decide, do you got something important to say? And you want it to be your record, your warning, your, I don't want to say call for help, but when you're dealing with families like Mama Peter with her children in a very poor community that has limited to no resources and no moral support from the outside world, from people like me, okay? You know, I don't know, it seems kind of important to me to stand your ground and build on your playlist and hope that somehow, some way, your voice gets out there. Might take years, where you're changing lives. As for your other content, well, that's, again, are you just doing it for the moment, trying to get your little bit of ad revenue in there and build up your subscriber, and you don't care what's said after the fact in 5 years from now as those videos get buried, not being put into a playlist because you figured you were always going to delete them anyway because it's nothing more but than game, you know, a hustle, right? Nobody else is saying the things that you're saying. Nobody else is doing the things the way you are doing it. But at the same point, YouTube could turn around, change their policies, and uptake all those videos all at one time, shut down your freaking channel, and say, get the fuck out of here, because clearly there's something wrong with you. But that won't happen for a long time, because that's the shit YouTube likes. If it's bad, somehow it becomes good. If it's good, somehow it becomes bad. I don't know why there would be any other reason for you to want to play this other than how I just tried to explain it and use myself as an example. Because sooner or later, whatever it is that you're doing will get lost in the fray, and you'll be lucky that somebody's going to come and find your channel and going to want to watch your videos and think about a woman named Lady Jane years after she left this planet. And that's assuming that YouTube is even around as a web server to host those videos. Because, you know, you never know when your time's coming. Shimei was 22 when Shimei died. Sierra was 32. Right? Okay, so Chop It Up with Roz has no playlist because clearly it's just smack that comes out of her mouth. It means nothing other than to stimulate the dopamine of a bunch of black women to piss them off before they go to work, before they go to school, before they go out shopping, whatever. Just to agitate the mind so that they kind of remain aggressive and always on guard and, you know, and angry and, you know, and feel that they have to be wearing the perfect clothes, living in the perfect house, with the perfect fucking perfume, with the perfect shoes and the perfect hair, with X amount of perfect dollars in their pocket in order to feel successful. And you can almost say the same thing about Latrice. That's her motto. So when I see my daughter acting like that, because I ask myself, where the hell did she learn this behavior? Because it costed her family, basically. Because I'm not talking to her. You can't come here and keep putting down Andre, never mind me, and Amari, and think that you're welcome. Because if it was a friend, I'd kick that friend to a curb, and I wouldn't even call him my friend anymore. Right? If it was some stranger that came up in my house and wanted to pretend to be my friend and then quickly started showing me their true colors, that person would be out my door, and that would be the end of that story. So just because you can claim daughtership, no. She needs to grow up. But when you got role models like Roz Squad and Latrice Allen and more, there's more of them like that. Those are just the ones that I'm familiar with for the most part. That dysfunctional family is very boring. I don't know. I noticed Rosalind is going to start, quote unquote, talking about them, but if she does, then it's just to fuel that dopamine with the nonsense and the bullshit and the crabbiness and this overinflated superiority complex that's being pimped out by YouTube with these bitches and hoes, quote unquote. Right? Just, yeah. But I looked at a few videos, and my God, boring. Boring as all hell. I'd rather have my 997 freaking subscribers with a few of those subscribers actually getting it. Getting the story in terms of what's possible in this world when you not thinking it could even happen. To be aware, to protect yourself and your family from things that you may or may not have control of, but at least you won't necessarily be blindsided by it, right? Versus a whole bunch of freaking bimbos looking for their next dopamine hit. Pretending that they like what I have to say. Because that's how small their brains are, right? If you fall in line that quick to like what's being said, which has no substance, is not being documented because it's just words in the wind anyway with a bunch of bullshit that agitates people, and it's self-serving to where one person benefits while the rest walk away pissed off to one degree or another, as they were thinking that they had a good time getting pissed off because it's that dopamine, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, the brain is the size of a pea. Where you could sit there and do all kinds of psychological assessments on my story from day one all the way to the last day of in the here and now, and you'd be studying me for years. I make people think. Right? I give things for people to think about. Yeah. But the ones that are self-serving and in good positions, those ones are lost cause. The Eleanor Gildings, governments, many government workers, because they're part of the problem, that's why. So they become lost causes. But Bailey is not a lost cause, and neither is her family. Lucy is not a lost cause, and neither is her family. And yeah, Deb, you rub me the wrong way, sometimes too much for my liking, because it makes me think that you are kind of trolling on the side there just to be passive-aggressive, and I don't know. But whatever, I try to be copacetic with people's opinions and whatever, you know, but, you know, I wouldn't wish any ill on your family. No. And I sure in hell wouldn't try and geek you up and get you mad at somebody else in terms of the way these women do it, just so that you can walk away feeling that you got your fix for the day. And then take your displaced anger out on somebody else because they showed you how to do it. Okay, so we're going to exit out of that. I think I should put part 2 because And I'm gonna get myself a coffee. I'm supposed to be cleaning the living room, but I wanted to get this playlist thing over with, right? And then I'm gonna try and do the follow-up with Mama Peter. Little Peter should be getting his truck pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And then as I do the follow-up video, I'm going to work on the estimate for the floor, the goat pen, if that's in the works. And just see what happens. Just see what happens. See if somebody wants to contribute a couple dollars here or there towards that goal when it gets closer to that time. Outside of that, it won't get done because I can't. I'm putting it at about $450. And that's giving the workers just a little bit more wage. Remember I said I think the men need to make a bit more money? Just a bit. Well, more than a bit, but we'll start with a bit. Alright. Materials are expensive. And then we can all, for the ones that helped out with that, unapologetically, that's another user that was considering, right? That's the lady that phones me from the States, is considering it, right? In terms of helping to get the floor put in for Mama Peter and the kids. So we'll see. We'll see. And then, of course, I want to do the video with the Robotoid Corner, because that's where the story becomes interesting in my book. Because it's one thing talking about it compared to it's another thing showing you it. And if you see it and you accept it, if you should come into contact with it yourself, because it can come besides just a corner, it will be something else too, right? You won't be feeling so intimidated by it, I would think, because you're already familiar with it, right? And you'd be more prepared to see it for what it is, acknowledge it, and find a better way to deal with it versus becoming a victim to it. And that's why I want to do the follow-up with that Robotoid Corner in relation to what happened to Sierra. And that's important because that affects real lives, real families, regardless of their ethnic heritage and their color of their flesh. So it all depends on what you want for your channel. You either want your voice to be around for a while anyway and hope for the best, or you just want it to go off in the wind because it's nothing but a hustle. Okay, so I got a few moments here, alright? I'm boiling my water, and when my water is boiling, I'll make my coffee and come back. Now, this is important. I told Lady Jane I'd do this for her, and again, I want her to be successful, so I'd take my advice if I were you. Lady Jane, get into your playlist, learn how to work with them. You've got 2 separate channels. Now we're going to get into, I have to sneeze. Is, right? Oh, there. God bless me. Alrighty. So now we're in May of 2013, okay? So this is the year that I fought for Andre. So this is part 2 of my video. First title is called Playlist, and then I think I wrote, what did I write? I don't know what I wrote. I wrote something there. It's not a hustle. Something like that. And then this will be Playlist, and then let's try and focus, although I'll probably end up talking about something. So yeah, if you look at you just look at these, look at these here. Let's here we look at that. There it is again. House of Depression. This is how communities become perpetually depressed because of the antics of what our governments do to families. Covering tracks, Ministry, probably of Tears. House of Depression, demonetizing the, probably says victim. Oh, yeah, see, demonetizing the victim, Ministry of Tears. Mayor X, MLA, all candidate debate. Ministry served me today. Shemaze. Dream. Andre doesn't remember us. Supreme Court of Canada. Duty Council. Duty Council said, stop fighting for my grandson. May 14th of, yeah, because I went to go to court. Right? This is what I mean. Like, they don't want you to know how they attack families. They don't want you to know how to try and protect your family. They don't want you to know how to try and fight for your family. They want you ignorant and dumb with the size of a pea for a brain, waiting for your next fix with somebody attacking somebody else because the bully always comes out ahead. I'm just saying. So we don't have to go back 50. What we'll do is we'll go back 10 just to be sure here, because we're getting into May. So what we want to do, Lady Jane, is we want to take it to, I'll put it at 30. 30, go back. Where am I? Here. So, I'm breaking mine up into a year, so still April. Yeah, I was doing a lot of hardcore videos on this stuff, people. My family went through a lot. And even then, they weren't done with us. Then they went after Uncle John. Then they went after Shemate. Well, Amari, really. And then Shemate. And then they went after Sierra. Okay, so here we go. December 22nd of 2012. What we're going to do is we are going to now, in those days, I was not putting, where's my finger? Here we go. I was not putting the day when the video was actually made. And that's another thing you might want to consider. But we'll get to that in a minute. So here we're going to have to take it from the post date. So homeless on Boxing Day. That would have been Tisha, or Sierra. Because she was illegally evicted from the house on December 12th and thrown out in the middle of the winter, and she was homeless on Boxing Day. If she came home and social services found out about it by any means necessary, they would have immediately removed Andre from the house, as they were falsely accusing Sierra of something that she didn't do. They didn't even drug test her, people. But that's not why they threw her out of the house. They threw her out of the house because family members in the house were complaining that she wasn't coming home in a timely manner. Right? And therefore the social worker decided to teach Sierra a lesson and said, if you come home, because you haven't been coming home, we're going to take your kid away from you, and we're going to just suspect that you're doing drugs. Yeah. That's all it took. That was it. It was game over. 8 years of misery got lured to her death. January 8th. Now, there seems to be a gap in here for whatever reason. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I didn't. So what I need to do is come listen to this video. And then come listen to this video. Because maybe, well, no, if YouTube took out a video, if they deleted a video, you would still see this part with the title. It would be like removed. It would say removed in here, right? So that must be the way I uploaded So I was dealing with Sierra, dealing with my upset kids, dealing with my grandson, right? Dealing with the depression in the house that was going on at the time. So that's probably why that gap was there. So what we're going to do here, being that this one was posted on December 27th of 2012, and this one was on January 8th of 2013, we're going to take this one. This is how you do it, Lady Jane. You have to go into your video. If you want to create a playlist, you have to go into your video first. Like I said, YouTube changes things all the time. And because I number my videos now, I'm going to put this as number 1 in my first beginning of my playlist for the year of 2013. Okay? And for every video after that, I'm going to give it a number. And if I come across a video that was deleted, I'm still going to give its own number. And then I'm going to copy and paste the title, the link, and the date that it was removed into my description box of my playlist, so that people can see that YouTube has been psychological warfaring with me for years, and that they are in partnership with corrupt governments that censor truthers in regards to what happens to us or others, depending on what we're talking about and how we're talking about it. In my case, I use my family as the example because it's, you know, they want you to not talk about it, but I talk about it, people. Anyway, so whatever's in this video is got something in the description box. So now what we need to do, we're going to open up a playlist, right? This is how you do it, Lady Jane. Just bear with me. I have to fight with this stupid mouse. Here we go. Go down. So now my description box is done with. Right? And then we've got the thumbnail. And then here it lists playlists. Let me just move this sidebar here. Here we go. Here under, this is your editor, video details, right? In your editor. Playlist, this is how you create one. You have to come in under the video, go down, come to playlists. You're either going to insert it into a playlist, or you're going to create a playlist. The last one I created was year of 2022 in real time. Only has the one video, but I removed that, I deleted that, and I'm redoing it. We have year 2024 in real time. I know I have year 2020 in real time because YouTube took down something like 15 videos in the year of 2020. So I started working on that. I know I have half a year of 2012 done. Now we're going into 2013. Okay? But because there is no playlist with 2013 in here, that's all my playlist, Lady Jane. That's a lot, okay? You can always delete them if you decide that they're, you know, not what you want and you want to start all over again. Okay, so anyway, here you go. Now you go to new playlist at the bottom. And because you have nothing there, it will come right up. You're not doing a podcast, you're doing a playlist. So you click on that, and then what it does is it brings you to this where it says create a new playlist. So now we're going to add the title, and my water is probably boiling, and of course we know that Amari is moving around, right? So 2013, okay. Oops, look at that. See, can't see shit. 2013 in real time. In other words, from video to video to video, as if it was a book, a page in a book. Every video is one page in a thick novel. Okay? 2013 in real time. Okay. Now I don't have time to write description. But I'll come back at a later date and I'll explain that the most traumatizing situation that happened in the year 2013 with my family was when the Ministry of Children and Family Development illegally apprehended Andre and illegally evicted his mother from her home under allegations that were never confirmed because they never did P-test her, right? And even then, that's not why they kicked her out. They kicked her out because she wasn't coming home in a timely manner and people were getting kind of tired with looking after Andre all the time. So social workers got wind of that and turned around and switched it and accused her of doing drugs and said that's why she wasn't coming home. But she wasn't coming home, so the social worker was going to teach her a lesson and just tell her not to come home, so that when she was allowed to come home, she wouldn't be so tardy. But the thing is, they had no intentions of her ever coming home, because they knew within a few days, in her case it was 10 days, before somebody shot her up with heroin with a needle, because she was disconnected from her methadone for 11 days. Yeah, because of what the social workers did. And an addict on methadone for years, no methadone, pushed out into the snow in the middle of the winter with no place to go, what do you think's going to happen? And the social workers, they knew it. And then they plotted and schemed and took Andre and made me fight like a bat out of hell to get him back, as my family became suicidal because we were all depressed. Yeah. That's a pretty heavy-duty story to be ripping pages out of, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's not one or two videos that's been removed, because that's what the government and big corporations like YouTube with their whatever staff, AI, CEOs, who knows, you know, right? It's that you will own nothing and you will be happy, unless of course you're working with the devil, then you'll own everything and people will magically respect you. Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to add that in now. I do that when I'm in the mood and I feel like typing and I'm not so abrasive as to what I just said compared to... Okay, now you push public. Okay, you want public. I like it published newest. I like the oldest first. I like the oldest first, the first one. Okay, that's the default setting. So this is the first one of a long line of videos to come for the year of 2013. Now you push create. It created your playlist. It automatically plugs it in, but I haven't saved, right? That, and then, but you have to close it. You have to push done. It likes that, okay? All right. And then, no, not made for kids. I don't know what's going on here in terms of comments, anything anymore. These are old videos. Choose and how, I don't know, it says on, comment, moderator. I don't have that. Show how many viewers like this video. Okay, fine. And now you push save. Okay. So now we're going to go into channel content. Okay, this is a different page. All right. 2024, we're going to go into playlist. There it is right there. Okay, 2013 in real time. Okay, there's the year. Oh, I need to put year. So in that situation, you should probably just be able to click it on. So we need to put the word year in front of it. Right? Year 2013 in real time, and then of course save. Right? And then you can go into your studio. You can go into content. You can go into playlists. This is through your channel content. You can click on your playlist. Okay. You can edit if you want. Then you can go into here. And it's right there. And the more you add, the longer this gets. So hold on a minute. Okay, so let's get on with this. But before I do that, I just want to mention about my eyes here. This eye doctor, he gave me back my money that I paid him. It was $325 for this crappy lens based on bad advice. In terms of, I told him, you gave me bad advice. I should never have changed that lens. You made a mistake. And I guess he was feeling a little guilty. Told me, here, take back the money you gave me for that lens. Because I was required to pay for the better lens. And go buy some glasses. But honestly, I don't think glasses are going to save the day. Besides that point, I'd like to just make a note that, and I wouldn't sue this doctor for bad advice, but I could, if I wanted to, I suppose. But at the end of the day, we know that, I was told it's $2 billion, but it's actually $6 billion. $6 billion. Well, maybe that's a different agency. There's the government with the $2 billion that protects the government when it comes to healthcare and the health authorities and the health workers. And then there's another offshoot to that slush fund that's being paid by taxpayers, which probably falls under a different portfolio, where doctors, if you sue a doctor individually because they pay into an insurance for malpractice, all this other crap, that organization that has a $6 billion slush fund can fight you in court, right? So it doesn't matter what they do to you people, how they hurt you, doesn't matter what family member they hurt, it doesn't matter. They are not held to account. It's impossible these days because of the corruption within the legislation itself, within the public union sector as a whole, with our politicians that are elected to represent the general population and not the freaking public union sector. Depending on what jurisdiction you live in, some are more quote-unquote Democrat in terms of it's all about the government worker before it is the public. And whereas when you get into the Republican or, that type of fast-paced wheeling and dealing for the rich, it all becomes about what's best for the rich and cut back with the poor. So, but it doesn't mean that people's stories aren't important and can't be utilized as a warning for other families to maybe protect themselves, at least from some mishaps. All right, so here, year 2013 in real time, the first video, get thrifty with food, protect your kids, 1 of 2. Now, Sierra's been kicked out by this time, okay? But they haven't taken Andre yet, right? This was January 8th. We were complying to what the social workers were telling us. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to go back. And it's going to take me, it should take me to where I was. You just have to learn how to use the features that they have. There it is. So yeah, we're still in 2013. This is January 31st. But the first video that we put in for that year was January 8th. Right? Because everybody was in panic mode because they kicked out, the social workers kicked out Sierra. And we were required to get Andre his own room, even though he was only 28 months old. So that's when Shimei went downstairs. They kicked out Sierra. Told me I couldn't keep Andre unless I could provide him his own room. So I had to ask Shimei to vacate her room, to which she didn't want, because Tisha was in her room and she was the younger of the 2 girls. So Shimei went into Sierra's room, to which was a big problem because Sierra thought, that was still her room. And, she was crashing, right? So she was sneaking into the room as Shimei was trying to, stay strong and right and do what the social workers were telling us to do, and then they came in and they took Henri on January 15th. I'm pretty sure it was the 15th. So that was a 2-part video. Okay. There it is. Oops, sorry. There it is there. There it is there. It's the same video, part 1 and part 2. So now we go into the next video. So we've got the first one up. Now we go into this one. And because and I highly recommend numbering your videos, Lady Jane, so that if YouTube should take one out, it will be easier for you to figure out which one they took. And then you can deal with it however you want after the fact. Right? In terms of if you want to open up another channel, like another video, like another channel on another server like BitChute, to post the video that was removed by YouTube, and because you wanted up there for a reason, because it's a page to a story, then yeah, you're going to want to know. So here, we don't have to create a playlist now. Okay? All we have to do is go into the playlist, and because we're working with it right now, we click it on. That's the one that we just created. Right? We push done. Right? We gave it a number 2, and we save it. I have to get this computer fixed. Well, I want a different computer actually. And because that's done now, we go back up here and we go back. Because if you try and come into it any other way, you're going to have to start all over again in terms of the first video all the way down to the end of the last video to where you're starting to deal with your playlist. And in my case, 2,700 videos is a pain in the ass. Okay? And then you just keep doing that from video to video until you get into the next year, and then start fresh with a new playlist. That's what I would recommend. So the next one is Pill Queen. That would be Uncle John's wife. Pills Queen, criminalization of poor. That's number 2 video. Talking on about the same thing. What's going on here? Uh-oh, no. Hold on a minute. I made a mistake. I missed one. This is number 2. This one is number 3. So, in that situation, we go into this one. I don't know if it will post 2 twice. It might. I don't see why not. It's a different title. As long as the title is different. Go into your playlist. Okay. Plug it in. Do your done. Save it. And then you're going to have to backtrack. Okay. Who is that? You're back. Okay, I'm doing a video.
They closed that free.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay.
And it was going back on at free 30.
But you decided to come home. Thank you. What?
You wanted to come home, so I like, okay, but...
Yeah, you don't need to overdo it. Remember, I said baby steps.
Yeah, he was cold.
Andre went out with his little friend first time by himself to a new place. So, instead of being that train wreck...
He picked up his friend, too.
Huh?
His friend gave me a candy.
Okay. Instead of being a train wreck running to a brick wall, he's learning how to take baby steps to get to wherever he's got to go safely and back.
I need water.
Developing those personal independent, out and about in the public, being respectful and polite, and not drawing negative attention to yourself, not being a hoodlum, you know, those rules. So anyway, so we got that now. So that if we look here, right, okay, so that's the second part, because that's a two-part video talking on about beef. Now we're going to go into this one, which is to do with John's wife, I'm sure, and we're going to change this. Actually, no. This one we're going to take out. Okay, we're gonna get sneaky with this one. We're going to put this as number 3, right? We're going to take this out of the playlist because I'll show you why. If we look at this playlist right now, the way it is, it's not going to read right. Do you see? Get thrifty with food. That's number 1. Get thrifty with food. Protect your kids. Oh, number 2. All right. Well, that worked out pretty good. But the number here is wrong, so we want to change that one. Okay? So it must have aligned it. What it did is it aligned itself with the first part of each title of those 2 videos. That's why they came together, and this one jumped down. Otherwise, this one would have been up here. But we don't want it to be number 2 because we've already got it in number 2, right? So what we need to do is get back into this.
Trying to do science?
No, I'm doing a video that, so here, number 3. No, for Lady Jane, so she can learn how to make playlists for her channel before she gets too big and gets struggling with it. Helping her out, right?
Okay. Well, you got one.
Yeah. I did one yesterday, but I had to delete the whole thing, and I have to do it over again. So I'm trying to just stay motivated here. So let me focus, because I don't want to drag this out any longer than I have to.
Can I ask you a quick question?
As long as it's appropriate. I've got the camera running here.
Can I just use that 6 stars you gave me?
Yes.
I didn't get nothing because we were getting there a little bit late. So I didn't really get nothing to eat at the store. Can I just go right there fast and come back
Yeah, and then you can lock up the bike.
and get a muffin?
Go ahead. I gave you that money for snack. But when you plan these things, you're going to have to make your little lunches the night before.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you go off and do those kind of activities, you get hungry.
Yeah, there was a picnic going on over there, but I didn't want to, there was a lot of parties going on actually out there.
Yeah, well, you can't just randomly go up to people's picnics and start eating their food.
I know.
You have to...
I said there's a lot of parties going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, one day at a time, you did really good. I'm impressed. You came back at a reasonable time. No scratches. You're being respectful. You didn't go off and do anything stupid, so I'm happy. All right. So now, okay? Yeah, so that's number 3. We're going to take this right up until January 15th on the day that they took Andre. Illegally, people. And the government wants to throw statute of limitation in my face. Doesn't matter what it is that happened to my family. It's so wrong what our governments are doing to families. Okay? And then here's the next one, asking for help, 2 of 2. So I guess this one here is 1. Sorry. Why does it say 2 of 2? What's 2 of 2? Where's the 1? Where's the 1? Why does it say 2 of 2? That doesn't make any sense, and look how long that video is. This is why you want backups too, because I know for a fact YouTube, when they took down my video, my channel, people, I'm telling you, when they took down my channel, they went back into 2012 when I was recording the province of British Columbia, Canada, through my television, with their debates on the budget. And they had, their opposition and whatever, their debate between the two parties, right? And then I had to break up the video into two parts. But for whatever reason, there was something that was said in there that somebody didn't like, because they did something. They re-edited, they edited the video and they reposted it on a different post date that actually prints out what I have in my paperwork that's completely different. They were fudging the numbers. So I'd have to go into my old external hard drive, look for the original videos, and go frame by frame, word by word, to figure out what the hell was deleted out. So always have backups. That's another thing. Because that there in itself doesn't make any sense unless something's been removed. Asking for help. Okay? So this one here, because this one here is not part 1 of 2. It just says, Pills, Queen, criminalization of the poor. And there's no 1 of 2. But all of a sudden we're going into 2 of 2. So that was number 3. So now we're going to go into this one. Okay? And we'll make this number 4 in the playlist. That's all we're doing here at this point. Oops. Alright, so we have to add the number 4. Now we can go into playlist because it's already, okay, just be careful, pay attention. Add it into your playlist. Push done. Push save up here. If you change your title or whatever you're going to do. To get back to where you were, you have to go in this way. It will bring you back. It's loading. And then we're going to go on the day when they took Andre, and we're going to put that in the playlist. Nobody's seen it coming. Our spidey senses were up, I'm sure, but we were really trusting of social services to be ethical, to which they were not. Asking for help, 2 of 2, I don't know what that means. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the next one in, Ministry of Tears, BC Children and Family Development. Alright, now I need to expand on that title. BC Children and Family Development Illegally Apprehended Andre. But if I label it like that, it might draw too much heat to where the government is not going to want that truth to be easily accessible. So they might even go as far as to remove the freaking video. So we keep it generic. Alright. So now we're going to add this one into the playlist. So this would be number 5. So if YouTube ever decides to remove this video, it will be easy to find it. But you want to have your backup on external hard drives as well numbered in correlation to what you're doing with the playlist. Okay? Now we're going to go into playlist, which is right here. We're going to add it into 2013, which was a very traumatizing year. You imagine every single member in your household all of a sudden waking up feeling suicidal, and then having those feelings for well over a year, 15 months to be exact. not including what was left over with the residue of that feeling, because it never really did ever go away. And when it was finally kind of going away, they went in for the kill and went and took John. Because that's what hyenas do. They run in packs, and they pick off one here, and they pick off another one over there, and so on and so on. So we added it into the playlist. Push your done. Do your save. Okay. And then go back to bring you to where you are. Now, you don't have a lot of videos like me, so you don't have to backtrack how many videos are we into the game here. Let's just see here in a minute. What have they got me down at? Down here at the bottom. So this is pretty much where we're at. They've got me at, where's my finger? 2,131 videos between 2,160 videos. So by the time I start at the top and I get to the bottom, I would have had 2,160 videos, not including my live streams, if I have them there, because that's under a different section. I have more than 2,625 videos. I've got well over 2,700 videos, but we'd have to take it back to 2009. All right, so I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to work on this throughout the day off and on, since I've got it now at 2013, and I've already started this playlist. But being that I've done that, I'd like to, now I am just going to refresh this page. Do you see? I'm just going to refresh this page. This is the playlist, okay? Year 2013 in real time. That's the first one that I put up, but we have 5 in there now, so we're just going to refresh the page, and you're going to see them all come up. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch these 2 little videos as is, because they should go back to each other because it's in a playlist, right? This only because I don't understand that. Something's missing. This, because that is the day when every member in my family became perpetually depressed with thoughts of suicide because of what our government workers did to my family. Illegally, with no probable cause outside of overextending their authority and bringing families down to their knees where they will own nothing and be happy. Because it's a progression, right? So we're going to listen to this one first and see what this is all about.
From all different directions, and
let's just listen.
One of my older accounts, right? It's 809, I think. That 904 is a new one, though, right?
Okay, that's non-profit.
14 new ones, one for each province and territory. That makes 13, and the 14th is a spillover. So that when you get 500 in the province, you just put it like for now, right? Until I find somebody that wants to host. So let's say we find somebody in Alberta. And,
yeah, a freaking pipe dream. You know why it's a pipe dream, people? Do you know why it's a pipe dream? I can tell you why it's a pipe dream. Because our public union sectors are the actual government that runs society. The politicians, they're the puppets. They really are. Yeah. The public union sector, they like control of things. They like poverty pimping. You know, only some people can succeed, right? Usually the ones that are committing most heinous crimes, honestly. So, edit video. So in this situation, now, I don't think, see, for me, this is my video, so I have to go into my editor. Okay? I don't got time to sit here and watch this video. But because that's foundation related, I'm just going to pop it into that playlist that I have. Foundation related. Do you see that? Now, it's not going to be in chronological order, but for now, we're just going to add it in there. Okay? And it's already in this one. So now it's in 2 different playlists. Right? So we're going to go done on that. And then you have to save it again. Right? Gotta be careful here when you're working with these things up here. This one I don't want to kick out because I'm going to continue doing, right? This is the one that we were just working on. So this one here I should be able to go back on.
From all different directions.
And see, it brings me back into the playlist. Right?
I've been moving a lot of rooms around right now and making a lot of arrangements for, different needs of family members and whatnot.
And this was before they took Andre.
Short, you can see the reel, right? There's 4 months. 4 months.
Right?
Now,
I'm working on a foundation trying to help my community as my government and their employees are plotting and scheming how to destroy my family.
I'll check it next week because, the man that works with me on that said, probably by the middle of January.
Literally.
So, by the middle of January.
And they were successful at it.
Creeping up here in the next couple of days.
And they made a lot of dirty money on it as well with the body parts.
I should have...
Not to mention what they took from John.
Maybe it's 5 months. It looks like 5 months. I'm like, oh my god. That's right, because I just got a new one, didn't I? That's 5 months of bank statements, people.
Yeah.
There you go. Can you see that?
Yeah. Okay.
That's 5 months of bank statements.
Yeah, 5 months of bank statements.
I need help with those. Okay? Like, this is some serious stuff here. We want to bring in a national telethon, right? And this is how you do it. So I need organizations from...
They don't want a national telethon. What they want is smart cities, right? People being pushed out of their houses so that a surplus of body parts become available with nobody noticing because people really don't care about homeless people in general, right? Somehow we did it to ourselves, right? As we're being overrun by, if it's not UN soldiers, it's large families from war-torn countries that many of them are bigots and racist themselves, looking for that Canadian dream at the taxpayer's expense. I'm just saying, right? And yada, 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 yada. It took me a long time to fucking really figure out what the hell goes on in society.
Every province and territory across Canada step up to the plate.
I have to use this stupid little speaker
to license out these and manage them, and then we'll promote a national telethon, and we'll get people to contribute, and then that will help to buy hay and all that good stuff, and transport of animals, and
yeah. Wow, I'm talking about all that in 2013. Well, we got our governments, here, there, and everywhere, speckled throughout the world, shutting down farmers. In Idaho, 500,000 farms or acres of land, farmland, is being put on lockdown as the water taps are being shut off. But yet they've got mining going on for cobalt that apparently requires a fair amount of water just to flush the cobalt out of the dirt that they're freaking mining it from. Not too many people talking about that. No. And then if it's not that, it's cows, right? Need to be removed off the planet because for some strange reason, God should never have put them on the planet in the first place. Like, okay. No wonder why this never worked out. Because the government knew what it was going to do in 2013. Right? They knew that they were going to try and shut down farmers and cut off the water and make it so that they don't have diesel and make it so that they can't get fertilizer and, and just make it so that they can't produce a product that can be sold with a reasonable profit margin, right? But did I know that in 2013? Did I know that my government was conspiring behind my back to shut me down before I even had a fucking chance to actually do something? Not that I could ever do what I was going to do because, I come from a different time period, people. This is not my first rodeo on this stupid planet. I'm just the messenger. Sometimes you just have to be satisfied with being the messenger.
And provide vet care and make sure the water's good and all kinds of good stuff, but I can't do it by myself, and I'm at my breaking point with this foundation. I'm really tired, so I'm asking for help again. Peace out.
All right, now we're going to go into the next video. Oh, look at that. Look at that. They don't want you to see that video. Don't you think that's kind of convenient? All of a sudden we can't watch Ministry of Tears, Children and Family Development, illegally apprehending Andre? Like, come on. Like, if that's not coincidental, I don't know what is. Hold on a minute. Okay, so we got it back. Here's Andre. You can see better than me. He was just coming into his language skills. Now remember, his mother was illegally kicked out of the house. This is January 15th of 2013. They kicked his mother out on December 12th of 2012. And by December 21st, within 10 days, she became a full-fledged junkie by somebody injecting her with heroin out on the streets because she couldn't come home because the social worker wanted to teach her a lesson. And I'm like being told that I need to provide a room for Andre by himself if I want to keep him. So I'm asking Shimei to go downstairs, forfeit the room that she loved and wanted to be in, to go downstairs and take over Sierra's room because that was the only room I could put her in, because I had to leave Tisha upstairs because Tisha was only 15 years old. As I'm being muscled into putting Andre into daycare. This was going to daycare. This was before going to daycare. And if you notice, he really liked his little cars, eh? Okay? Nobody's seen it coming, people. No, we did not see it coming, people. It happened so fast. It was so coordinated. Oh, yeah. Wow. He was 28 months old.
What they doing? Yeah, a dog. That's right.
He was just now coming into his language skills. He was missing his mummy. But he had Auntie Tisha, he had Auntie Shmei, and he had me. He had Uncle John, and he had Uncle Marcaine. But that's not what they wanted. They wanted Andre because they thought that I wouldn't be able to fight back so that they could adopt him out at this age. Because that's what children, those are the type of children that are adoptable and attract investors into that program.
Little doggy on there. What's that? Baby? You see baby on there? Oh, who's that? Elephant? Elephant? Bird? Oh, you just...
So after this, I ended up taking him to daycare because I had no choice. It was either put him in daycare or we're coming in and taking him. Throw out Sierra, she can't come home, or we're coming in with the cops and we're taking him.
Just want to say hi. Say hi.
They took him anyway. And that's the point. And every now and then they like to rip out pages from the book so that you don't get the full story, so that when they want to come and take your kids away, you won't know what to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One. One.
One flower.
Shimei was at school. I'm sure Marcaine was at college. Tisha was maybe working because she was working at McDonald's, or she was... No, she came with me. This was the first day we let Andre stay at the daycare by himself, because when we first put him in, he'd never been away from us people. He didn't want to be there. So, Tisha would stay or I would stay for the first week or whatever it was, right? For a few hours. And then he'd leave with us to try and get him used to the environment. And then she took him that day. Whether I drove or not, I don't know. I don't think so. I think she went and walked off with Jumi, had him in the stroller, dropped him off. And that day it was decided for her not to stay, because we'd already been doing that for the week, right? We were going to try and leave him there for a couple of hours by himself. Well, they took their opportunity, because the whole thing was a setup. See, that's the point. The whole thing was a setup, because as soon as Tisha was gone, that daycare called Social Services, they came in and they swooped him up, so that by the time she came to pick him up, he was already gone. Shimei was at school, Marcaine was at college, Uncle John and I were at home, Tisha was went to go pick him up, and you're going to see that in a minute, okay? How we found out that they took him illegally, to which the government of British Columbia, Canada, to this day, thinks it's a joke. They treat it like a joke. And everything and anything else that's happened to my family that's bad because of their employees is a joke. Well, it's not a joke.
One flower.
And that's why YouTube likes to shadow ban my channel. What do they say? The truth hurts? Okay.
Okay, so this is Mama Lynn, and we...
This is Tisha phoned me. Mom, Andre's not at daycare. Come here quick. I went there. I went into the daycare with the camera, flew around looking for my grandson. Clearly he was gone.
just had social services come in here and take my grandson, out of daycare. I don't know what kind of games they're playing. They wanted him in here from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He's not even 2.5 years old. And, they use this daycare as a front to set me up so they can come in here and take my grandchild away. And if this is the Ministry of Children and Development and how they deal with their issues, well, we're going to just carry on, aren't we?
Mom! Stop it! I'm serious!
Oh, welcome to depression. Where do you think it starts from? How do you think it manifests itself? How do you think it breeds and broods and festers and becomes infectious to other families in communities that have been dubbed as sacrificial lambs to politics that clearly is an alliance with satanic activity for profit and gain?
Everything good?
This is when they took you from the daycare, so it's emotional for me, because clearly it affected Tisha very deeply, because still to this day, she's dysfunctional because of what happened to her at the hands of corrupt government employees.
You're right. I'm gonna go ask Mark to look at my finger.
Would you do that?
It is really badly hurting right now. So I'm wondering if I did something bad to it.
You're going to have to put some polysporin on it with a Band-Aid and give it a few days. All right.
There you go. 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 Hey, there's your daycare. There's social services daycare coming in here, setting up the stage, making it look like they care about the little children. Huh? Bill?
No, what they cared about was trying to adopt them out and make a whole bunch of cash while they did it. Get some brownie points, some bonuses in there. Boost up their portfolio so that the government can forward more money into their ministry so they can do it again and again and again and again and keep themselves employed. You know, top off those superannuation life insurance policies and their dental plans and their medical plans and their disability plans and their freaking perks when it comes to their expenses and all this other stupid crap.
Put them in daycare so that they can come in on the side and take the children away? Huh? What does it tell the kids? Huh? What does it tell the kids? What you feeling? What you feeling, Jimmy? What do you think? Is Mama Lynn a bad person? Huh? What do I do for the community?
Can you
Nothing-
stop vaping?
nothing- Huh?
Can you stop? Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm like, you're so fucking.
So we're in my little grandson's room now.
No, that was Shimei's room. Shimei just went into high school, was happy, and they fucking ruined it. They turned her into a depressed ball of emotions that became suicidal right along with everybody else in the family, including Uncle John.
You know.
But the damage was done. Shimei was downstairs in Sierra's room, with Sierra now running in and out any chance that she could get, strung out on heroin with a needle in her arm, with Austin in tow, thinking that was still her room as she's trashing now Shimei's room. As this room that you're looking at right now sat empty for 15 months, people, as I was fighting my government 22 times in court over a period of 15 months trying to get my grandson back. That's substance. That's reality. That's a warning.
I've been
That's reality.
working on it in here. Setting up his toys and everything.
That was Shimei's fish tank, Shimei's piano, Shimei's bed, Shimei's dresser, Shimei's desk. She gave up her room so that Andre could come home. But they never intended to have him come home. Now did they? Now, because if they wanted him at home, they would have left him at home. But that wasn't the agenda. Now, because our governments are corrupt and so are their employees. That's why we have a $6 billion, another $2 billion slush funds to prevent doctors, healthcare workers, hospitals, including government as the employer, from malpractice and everything else that they do to injure innocent human beings. So they can do it again and again and again. Well, we got bimbos up on YouTube running with their devil, thinking they're all big and bad, and they got something important to talk about. Yeah, right.
He's got a bookshop.
Oh, yeah, Latrice Allen, she lost her kids to social services there for a little while. But it didn't do it was just a talking point. It just got the black women to feel sorry for her, right? So that they would give her more. And for as much as she's gotten, really, what has she accomplished? Not very much, people. She hangs on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, or wherever she goes to get her change, her chump change, so she can add it all up and feel like she's fucking rich and one of the, chosen ones? Yeah, chosen my ass. I know depression when I see depression, people. Her kids are depressed. Okay? I know when my kids get depressed, and I know why. And I'm showing you why. And that's what my videos show you. Year after year after year after year.
Shelf there. You know, he had a little computer.
That was Shimei's computer. That was Shimei's desk. That was Shimei's room. Nobody should be surprised that Shimei wasn't set up to meet Julian and end up dead, because ultimately at the end of the day, her body brought in $1 million for somebody through the black market. Another dark side to our government. But they have to set the stage first so that they can blame the victim for being the victim. It's called victimizing the victim. If this would never have happened, there would never have been no Julian Johnson. My daughter would have stayed in that room, got honors, more than what she got, even though she was so messed up with all this shit that was going on. Don't forget, she put herself in school, just got into school, and was pulling in honors through all this garbage crap that my government was putting us through. And then they went after John. And she had a nervous breakdown more than she already had with what happened here. And then they send in the clown, Julian Johnson. He was stalking her. His sister was stalking her before she even realized she was being stalked. Next thing you know it, my daughter's dead. Well, Sonia, the mother of that duo, got into a fake car accident and cashed in for the body parts that she helped to facilitate with her kids. Yeah. Will the government investigate that? No. Because the government's involved. Clearly, they're protecting the hospital. Their legislation means nothing. That's my warning. Don't believe the legislation. It's hogwash. And I've said it before, time and time again, when I talk about these stupid issues, that whatever the government writes down, they only use it to their benefit. If you come and you throw it in their face, you hold them to account to it, you call them on it, they act like it doesn't exist. They accuse you of being frivolous and scandalous and a waste of the court's time. They bring in their fake, funky, stupid case law that has nothing to do with what you're talking about, and they make it as if it's law. And because the judge is bought off, everybody's bought off, they're all having their little orgy among themselves, it's a slam dunk. Yeah. And then if for some reason you should get a break, all they have to do is draw on that $2 billion, $6 billion slush fund to call in their beagle lawyers to fight you harder to keep you oppressed. Hoping that you'll just go away. And when you're real depressed, they'll just set you up for assisted suicide. Convince you that that's the only way you can deal with your problems. Save your family the stress. Go kill yourself so that your family can be free of the burden that you present to them. That's what we have for leadership, people.
Right? His toys. They don't know nothing about him. They don't know what he likes. Right? Apparently social services came in today at daycare as undercover. They used the daycare as a front. That's why they don't give me no paperwork, nothing. Trying to say it's my fault, right? So now I'm looking to go get a lawyer and go to court.
And then don't forget, when I go to legal aid to go get a lawyer to fight for my grandson, what happens? They say you don't qualify. You're a lowly grandmother. You're not the parent. Get the fuck out of here. Deal with it. So what do? I go off and I borrow $3,500 on my life insurance policy. And I go to the Supreme Court and I try and file a lawsuit against my government. But before I did that, I went to court with Sierra the next day after they did this stupid shit, and I put application in for custody. In those days it was custody, now it's guardianship. But I went in there, Sierra did what she did. I put an application in for custody. I served her. I served the ministry, and I became a party to the proceeding. They tried to get rid of me, but they couldn't. But it took one lawyer on the telephone to tell me what to do. And if he would never have told me what to do, that would have been it. I would have lost my grandson, people. Yeah, I would have lost my grandson. And then, because I was serious about filing that lawsuit, a couple of months into the game of going to court back and forth with Sierra, the ministry, myself, the judge told me I needed a lawyer to represent me. I told him I didn't qualify. He said, go back, try it again. Sure enough, I put the application in. It went to the head office in Victoria, and it got approved. And then I got Paul. And that's when I dropped the lawsuit, trying to make the attempt to do the lawsuit in the Supreme Court, because I already had Paul. Yeah, it's just, it's so wrong what's happening to families. Hold on a minute. Okay, so back on this subject here, because this video is almost over, right? In regards to, this was Shimei's room, Shimei's fish tank, Shimei going to school, Shimei feeling positive, Shimei ready to, become a nurse and all this other crap. Next thing you know, she wakes up, she finds out that her grandson's been illegally apprehended. Her sister's been thrown out in the streets. She has to give up her bedroom, right, so that it can sit empty for 15 months, right, while we're being stressed out with court and being accused of this and accused of that by a whole bunch of fucking social workers that are on a mission to steal Andre and adopt him out for profit, basically, people, okay? And then, of course, Sierra, by this point, is going in and out of the house any chance she can get, sneak in, right, do whatever she's doing, stressing everybody out. Everybody's on a suicide mission, even though none of us want to kill ourselves, but we all feel like we want to kill ourselves. And then we got fast forward in 2024, strangers that profess to be my loyal subscribers that have been following me for years being passive aggressive about, well, it's all so emotional. Well, let's take it to the root cause here, for crying out loud. What, you think that shit that you heard in my last video upload before this one? Because this will be the last video and then the one after, right? Like before, right? You think that just popped up out of nowhere? No, that was manufactured through that manufactured poverty, oppressive governance that we have. Sierra was targeted in school, people. Once they got their clutches on her, people, with the handlers in the community, people, they knew what they were doing. They didn't want her to be successful. They didn't want her to be a proud mom that could look after Andre by herself, stay clean, be productive. Hell no. They had a quota to meet. That's why they never P-tested her, because whatever reason that they want to try and convince themselves after the fact of being called on the reason that they gave for kicking her out, she told me more than one occasion, there is no P-test. So why the fuck you kicking her out? Because you said, if you come home, we're taking Andre, because we're going to teach you a lesson. Oh, wow, yeah, you sure did teach everybody a lesson. More reason to keep the story out there for the ones that are vulnerable to this gang stalking that comes from the epitome of quote-unquote what is acceptable and right and respectable in our community. This was the downfall of my family, people. And then they went after John. And then mysteriously, suddenly, out of the blue, Amari was born severely handicapped, of all handicaps. You can't get any more severe. Well, actually, you can. For that, I'm grateful that at least he's a happy child. But his life is very limited, with nobody taking any responsibility for that one, as they're too busy trying to cover up Shimei's murder and other illegal activities around that murder for profit. Okay. So that somebody could get a kidney by any means necessary.
Because I wanted to go to court and have a judge assess this situation and how they kicked my daughter out of the house after making plans to do something with her and the baby.
I couldn't continue working on a lawsuit trying to get that answer, as I had a judge at some point telling me I needed to go back to legal aid and put an application in again for another lawyer under legal aid, because they couldn't really do much with what was going on. It was just a stalling tactic. Come on, that was like 2-3 months into the game when he told me to go do that. And it took me 15 months to get Andre back, and even then I was kind of threatened to take the deal or suffer the consequences in terms of he ain't getting him back anytime soon. You can't win for losing. No. So yeah, they institutionalized Sierra when she went back in age 12 into that quote-unquote resource room. They kept her there for 2 freaking years, even though it was supposed to be only a 1-year program. And then they put her into middle school, and within a month or 2, she became addicted to drugs without me even realizing what the hell was going on. And that was in the rich area of Delta, right? One of the richer schools of Delta. And by the time I figured out what the hell was going on, never mind trying to figure out what meth meant, it was too late. They already had their hands in Sierra. They got what they wanted. They kept her strung out for years and years and years and years and years and years. She got pregnant through my assistance. She got grounded, right? Went on the methadone, had a healthy baby, okay? And then was a good mom for 28 months until the social workers were going to close her file. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they took some little, well, she's not coming home like she used to. She's staying out later. You know, well, if that's the case, well, she can stay out and she can learn a lesson. And if she comes home, we're just going to take Andre away. Oh, my God. And that was it. It was over. From that point forward, they were plotting and scheming how to get Andre, and they did. They took him out of a daycare after they lied to every single person in my household about what they were doing, because they had ulterior motives. Manufactured poverty. White trash. Black trash. Doesn't matter. It's all the same kind of trash as far as they're concerned. So don't be fooled.
So I guess they're all and mighty powerful.
I mean, what do you say? What do you say when you go through all this? I don't know what to say. I'm just putting it out there, right? As a lesson for other people to be, I don't know. Will it help you one day? You never know. It might. It might. If it gives you courage to stand up against it, courage to go through it without submitting to committing suicide, right? Or losing it all and everything, turning into an alcoholic, turning into a drug addict yourself because of the depression, well, then I've done my job as a community activist. So this is where, Lady Jane, playlists do become important, but I suppose it depends if you're just words in a wind with no substance, basically, looking to make a buck by any means necessary, even if it means selling your soul to the devil. Right? Getting on that bandwagon, being a shit disturber as you convince yourself somehow, some way, that you're a nice person with ethics, when in fact that's not true. Okay? Yeah, I'm not like that. No.
You gotta always come up and take and destroy. That's what they're doing. And these people trying to tell me to stay positive. What the hell is there to stay positive?
That's what the people at the daycare said. That was a joke. The daycare should have been shut down for participating in illegal activity. Oh, but they were just doing what the Ministry of Children and Family Development told them to do. Yeah, just call us the minute Tisha's gone. Just call us the minute the Nana's gone. As soon as they're gone, we'll be there in 5 minutes, I promise. You will never be held to account to the destruction of what you did to that little boy and his family. Because you're just a daycare.
About.
Okay, hold on.
Can't go.
All right, so now that we've done that, this is the playlist. Year 2013 in real time. I've only got 5 videos up, right? When I have time, I'll try and work on it right now because I should be able to snag into that year, right? And then just keep adding on. Now, I don't know if you know this, Lady Jane, but I'm going to show you anyway. You should always have your videos, especially if you've got something to say and you want your voice to count, that is, right? I mean, if you're just running gab and game, who cares, right? It's probably better that your shit disappears because after a while people will start to see how fake you really are. Other than that, if you want people to see that you're sincere and you're an honest person that's been through a whole lot of shit so that other people could profit off your demise, well then you want to do it this way. Okay? So if you notice here, now this is the editor video details, right? Okay? If you notice here, now as I do these things, I do download them. They're coming in as a MP4, I think. I think they're coming in as a MP4. And then I'm just going to put them on an external hard drive. And you know, in my younger years with YouTube, I didn't keep everything as nicely logged as I should have, I guess you could say. So I probably have backups to each and every video, to which I do. But on the other hand, a lot of stuff is mixed up. So here we go. Ministry of Tears. Yeah, it's an MP4. So as I go and I do that, I just do the backup. I do the download. It comes in an MP4, which is a smaller file, oftentimes than what you upload as in terms of the format of the file, right? Depending on the editor. And then you just take these. See, there's that video, right? Now it's in an MP4. It did not go up as an MP4, but YouTube will convert it over to an MP4 for you. And because it's your video, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. You know, you can download for yourself, and then once you get it into your download part of your operating system, you can take those files and you can just transfer them to a folder, and then you can take that folder and you can just transfer that folder onto an external hard drive so that you have them, so if and when you should lose your channel, or maybe they start taking down some of your videos because they don't like your quote-unquote new content and they just want to use you as an example for other people to not maybe do something, or maybe they want to start playing psychological warfare with your psyche because they get paid with third-party companies to F with other people just to see how we react so that they can train their AI to be a better troll, for example. I'm just saying. Okay? I mean, when you come into YouTube and you're working with YouTube, oh, you just don't know what's going to come knocking on your door when it comes to YouTube and your videos, right? All right, so now that we've done that, so now we're going to go try and get to the end of this video here. So now, Lady Jane, okay, Jane Moto, this is your new content. So what you want to do is you want to open up 2 playlists. You want a playlist for this particular channel, well, 3 actually. You want 3 different playlists here. Okay, well, you can start with 2. Well, maybe I'd go 3. I'd go through. If it was my channel, this is the way I'd do it. You can figure it out for yourself. You want 3 different playlists. You want playlist 1, where it takes you to the very first video of the video that you uploaded onto YouTube. Okay? So we'll go into your channel here and we'll go down. Now, you don't have a lot of videos. So at this point, you can still find them. The more videos you make, sooner or later, they're going to disappear and nobody's going to see them, Lady Jane. And they'll be pointless. You'll have no voice. It will mean nothing. And this is why you need to make a playlist. This is why I suggested it. Right? So we're just going down to the bottom because I know for a fact that you don't have that many. Because sooner or later, YouTube will just, they will just disappear because you'll have too many, right? So welcome to my channel at Jane Moto. This was your first upload on this channel. So playlist 1 starts here. Okay? I would number it. Number 1. Right? I already showed you what to do. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. All the way up. And you could put playlist number 1. Playlist number 1, you can call it Village Life and Charity Work. That's okay? So that's playlist number 1. And you can go all the way up. So now we're at number 44. Okay? And keep going. I don't know how many videos, I'm just guesstimating. Okay? So all those will end up in a playlist. Okay? Right? And then, boom! So this is from here, everything down should go into one playlist. You can go year, whatever, in real time. Cut it off at the end of the year and start year 2 in whatever that was into, year 2023 in real time. Year 2024 in real time. So that's 2 playlists right there. Village and charity work. And then open up another playlist. Year 2024. Men's advice. I don't know what you want to call it. Because all of a sudden you changed up on your shit. Okay? So this should get its own playlist. And all this should get its own playlist. Now, you speckled in only because of what I was doing. If I wasn't doing what I was doing, these videos would not be here. Because you're doing follow-up videos with me. So, when you get to this video, you just add it in with the following number to this. So, if this one is 78, number 78, this video is number 78 under Village Life and Charity. This one would be number 79, Village Life and Charity. This one would be Village, video number 80, Village Life and Charity. And you just have to put a little line with the number. And so, right? Here, you open up a new playlist, Men's Advice, whatever you want to call it, and then start plugging this one into that playlist. And I would number these ones as well, because these are the ones that might end up at some point in the future either being deleted because of the content, and you can't trust YouTube. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. But here's another one of those ones under Village and Charity, which would be, what, 81 now? So you'd put this one at 81. So 17, and then 18. Okay, so you're putting this in the Village and Charity playlist, where these ones are with the Men Advice. If you don't have them in an MP4 and you want to have the backup, I already showed you how to do that. So, we're 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. this is the kind of stuff that's going to bring you negative attention to where YouTube might get funky on you, but then they like that kind of crap when it comes to debauchery and being, just, anyway, see, here it is again. Right? Okay. And then, because you plan on now keeping this channel for this particular subject at hand, when you get into the new year, I would continue just adding your numbers so that if one should go missing, it will be easier for you to locate them. And again, do your backups so that if you decide you want to post that on, say, BitChute, because you know you can never put it back up on YouTube because it somehow all of a sudden out of the blue one day didn't suit their guidelines, because that's how they roll. They're always changing their shit up, keep people guessing, keep them on their toes, making them feel like crap. Like, yeah, they're letting you run with it right now. You seem to be pretty happy with the results in terms of you're pulling in some large numbers here and there in between your videos in general. Compared to where you started, compared to where you are now, I would think that it pays off to do what you're doing, and that's the devil playing with you, corrupting you, making you maybe be another Raw Squad with no substance, maybe a Latrice Allen with a whole bunch of depressed kids around you. Who knows? Okay, all I know is, there's only this is a niche. Not everybody's interested in listening to this kind of stuff because it's like clickbait, basically, for some people's opinion, I suppose. All right, so you've got your playlist 1, Village Life, year 2023, right? Village Life and Charity. Playlist number 2, year 2024, Village Life and Charity. Year 2024, Men's Advice. And then after December 31st of 2024, you're going into 2025. That's when you can open up another playlist, right, by year. So, and again, start fresh with your numbers so that you have a backup of, in case something goes missing, gets deleted, do your downloads, or at least have your backups organized somewhere else on an external hard drive that is not connected to the internet in any means. In other words, don't rely on the cloud to hold your stuff for you. You need an external hard drive where it's an actual box where you plug it in and you download everything onto that. Okay, unless of course you just want your words to be nothing more than words in the wind, and you want your shit to disappear, because ultimately at the end it means nothing. All it is just money, a means to get money, donations, ad revenue, and whatever, right? So this is like, you have to decide what you're using your channel for. Now, in regards to your Dear Jane Moto, almost done, same thing. Here you open up 2 playlists, okay? 2 playlists here, or 3. You can do the year 2023 Village Life plus Charity, and then those videos that were on this channel, okay? These videos that were on your main channel, you can go into them. Whew. Okay?
Thick, creamy.
And because it's your channel, you'll be able to go into share. In this situation, you'd have to go into share. Unless, of course, YouTube is connected the 2 channels together, because I know they give us 2 channels or something. 2 or 3 channels. They give us the main channel, and then we can build in 2 more channels, to which, I don't know, you just have to find how to plug it into your playlist, right? So in this situation, for share, let me see. We don't want to share it. We want to put it in a playlist. So this is your video. And then if I want to put your video in my playlist, I do it through save. I do it through down here. I go into save. Do you see how now it brought up my playlist? But it's already saved into my playlist. See, changing lives. So this video is already saved into my playlist, but it would be the same way for your video. Okay? So in here,
What's up, my beautiful people?
you would just take this and you would save it into 2 separate playlists. One on your main channel that you already started, because on your main channel, where are we? This is the Dear Jane one. You just go in there and you'd look for Jane Moto. You save it there. Right? You'd go from the Jane Moto page, you'd go look at your video, and then you just save it for yourself in both channels under their playlist. Okay? So you have year 2023. No, this is your Dear Jane. So you'd open up a playlist, year 2024, Village Life and Charity. Okay? And you'd put those in there. I would recommend numbering them. Now, if you want to break it up, you can do a playlist called Year 2024 Village Life, Year 2024 Charity Work, if you want to break them up, because people will come and look what they want to look at, right? On your main channel, you can continue adding in the videos into whatever playlist you already have listed for 2024 with charity work in it. So those 5 other videos with the Village Life and the charity, you can continue still adding them into your playlist on your main page, even though you're not uploading them anymore. Okay? Okay? So if we go into my playlist from my channel, I'm going to end it here. Changing Lives. This is a playlist, right? Changing Lives. Happiness on a Whole New Level. So far we've got 16 videos in there between my videos and your videos. Alright? Because I'm grouping it as a subject.
Lord, I don't know now.
Okay, in a roundabout with me coming in with the introduction, because I told you this is a hard subject. It's hard to get viewers to believe what you're telling them in terms of you're actually doing charity work and they can trust to give you money to do the charity work. That's why I always say do the follow-up videos, right? Because it helps to make you look more legitimate, especially if you're, would like people to help you with that, to carry on with those endeavors. So in this situation, if you notice here, okay, New Nations Unity, there's Jane Moto. Alright? New Nations Unity, Jane Moto. New Nations Unity, Jane Moto. Jane Moto. New Nations Unity, whether I'm doing follow-up videos or whether I'm adding in your video as is, that's what I'm doing so that people can make their own decision as to whether they want to watch it. If they want to go directly to your channel, they can click on that and it will take you there, take them there. And then if you have a playlist, then they'll look through the playlist, they'll decide what they want to watch, and it will just be better for you in the long run. It will be a nuisance in the beginning because you have to reorganize and set things up. So we got Jane Moto, New Nations Unity. And now we're into the Dear Jane Moto because you brought in the new channel, which is actually not going anywhere. So you're probably kind of maybe regretting what you did. But don't forget, your playlist on your main channel, this is your main channel, right, will already be here with your previous charitable and village videos, where you can take those videos from Jane Moto and plug them in to your playlist here as you create them. So that playlist will continue to grow as long as you continue to make those types of videos. Okay? Just like I've got you here, Dear Jane Moto, it mixed in between my videos with your original channel. Now what happens to this, I don't know, because I can't be expected to rescue a poor village by myself in terms of paying to improve the quality of life between Mama Peter and her family and the little girl who is 11 with her family, when I can't even meet the financial expectations of my own family. Although, you know, I did a little bit help out, but I don't also want to drop the ball, right? In terms of, I'd like to see Mama Peter get a floor. I would. And if we can get her a couple of goats, that would be great. Ideally, okay, I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to put it on myself, and I'm going to end it on this note. And I'm just going to show you the difference between me. Well, I'm not going to show you, I'm going to explain to you the difference between me and those other bimbos that I was talking about. You see, what I'd like to see, Lady Jane, is those bimbos step up to the plate and do a fundraiser where $8,000, maybe $10,000, maybe $15,000 could be plugged into your community so that we can help more than just one or two households. Because as you and I are helping Mama Peter and the little girl with her siblings, there's a whole lot of other people in that neighborhood who are deserving of a little help too, right? But how can we do that with no funds, no moral support? Well, for being all big and bad, the epitome of what is right on YouTube, the success story, that is, the ones that like to bring in, you know, the traffic, who make all the donations, honestly, between those two women that I spoke about, if they put their mind and heart and soul into it, they could, through their subscribership, take a chance on your village, do a fundraiser, forward the money to you, trust in the process, and they could change a lot of lives in an instant. But they won't do it, Lady Jane. They have bills to pay. They're shopping for something else. all we got, Lady Jane, is a few bona fide subscribers on my end who could contribute, I suppose, at some point, a little bit, to get us squeak by, you know, in terms of, I'm thinking we need 400, maybe 450. 450 would really be nice, right? If we could come up with $500 for the floor and the fence for the goats, assuming that the neighbors said, yeah, let's try the goats because it benefits more than one person, really, when you think about it. And, you know I can do two. Two, I'm willing to try. Right? But not yet. Tisha's off the grid because I'm fighting with Tisha. She needs to grow the hell up. I'm done with the name calling. I'm done with the insults. I'm done with all of it. But then when you've got role models like Latrice Allen and Raw Squad and people like that all over the fucking internet, you can't be surprised that young women are acting that way, okay? I can't compete with that shit. So, yeah, you know, like, goodbye. I'm getting too old for this nonsense. You either take responsibility or never grow up. It's your choice. And you don't have no right to come in and start bullying me there, bullying me here, calling me this, calling Andre that, saying that about whatever. It's just, right? So that we can't depend on Tisha to help. Lucy, maybe. Right? Bailey, maybe. Even if it's $50 each. Right? Shelly, maybe. That's 150 right there. 2 from me, that's 350. Right? I can't speak for Deb, and I can't speak for that other woman that likes to antagonize me under the deception of, well, I'm a loyal subscriber. I have a right to say what I got to say because it's my opinion, and therefore it becomes rule of law because clearly you're not thinking straight, Judy. Yeah, okay, well, let me get back into my videos and start bringing them into fucking playlists, and then we'll talk about the pros and cons about this, that, and everything else based on my experiences. Okay? I can't afford to be losing another child when it comes to quote-unquote Andre to a corrupt system that isn't working on his behalf as it's up in your face saying that it is, when I can pull up videos to prove otherwise, time after time after time. If you want to take it there. So, next video, I don't know. I might do something in the kitchen. I show you what I might do. I brought it out to do it, but I don't know. I just haven't been up for it these days. I'll show you though. Because I like to try and, you know, make it informative whenever I can in terms of sharing knowledge. Not because I'm looking for a donation, but because, you know, it's important, right? Especially in this day and age. Remember, for the ones that watched my video, when I was canning something, and I ended up filling up these little jars, because you know how they say you're not technically supposed to can grease, quote unquote. Well, I did. Because this is turkey lard. That's what I call it. Turkey lard. That's when you are canning turkey and you have to skin it. Take all the fat off, and then I rendered it, and I put the fat in here, and ate the crackling. Right? and I put these in the canner at the very top of the canner, a whole slew of them, because I did 2 turkeys, right? Technically, you can't can these. I'm ending this video on this note. Technically, you can't can these as if it was pork lard. If it's pork lard, you render the pork, you pour it into your jar, you make sure everything's hot, the pork is almost at the point of boiling, you put it into a clean jar, you put your lid on, you seal it, you turn it upside down, leave it like that 15, 20 minutes, you turn it back up like that, and the jar seals, and technically it can sit outside of the fridge on a shelf for years, providing it doesn't even pop. Okay, providing it doesn't pop, right? Once it pops, even then though, fat is a natural preservative. Whereas with tallow, technically, you can't can them in a jar. Definitely not the way I suggested, outside of maybe putting them in a pressure canner and taking your chances that way at 75 minutes. Otherwise, you have to put tallow, rendered beef fat, in the freezer if you want to keep it for any length of time. However, I would think that, it would be worth maybe taking a chance trying to pressure can it at 75 minutes and sealing it that way so that you don't, you don't have to fill up your freezer, or maybe you don't have a freezer, but you want to preserve that fat, that beef fat. That would be the way to go, but you'd have to do it at 75 minutes based on proper pressure canning time. This was in the pressure canner for at least 75 minutes at the very top of the canner, with a whole bunch of other jars on, like 2 stacks of jars, like pint-sized jars, 8, another 8 pint-sized jars, with that sitting up at the very, very, very top. And it was in the pressure canner for 75 minutes, to which it should not have gone rancid because it was pressure canned. Because that's what you'd be concerned about more than anything at that point, would be, did the oil go rancid, right? And then next, of course, would be botulism. But anytime you're doing a low-acid food, even if it's fat, okay, you still have to heat it up for that 10 minutes and bring it to a boil and then turn it down and, do that ritual to kill off any botulism in the event. But this would only be used for frying something. You could make spring rolls. Put that in a nice little frying pan and fry your spring rolls with this. Of course, you'd put it into a pot, or the frying pan. You put it into the frying pan. You'd heat it up, Don't overcook it. You're going to smell it whether it's bad or not in terms of the fat went rancid. If it smells good, you're good to go. And then, if you're good to go, now you can actually can this stuff and use it at a different time. That was done in 2023, people. In August. That was done over a year ago. But I wouldn't do it in a quart-sized jar, that's for sure. And I don't know. I don't know how well it would do up in a pint-sized jar, but definitely a 250 mil. And this is this is smaller. This is 125. This is 125 mils up to the salmon-sized jar, which is 250 mils. I would say, yeah, for sure, no problem. But you'd have to do the full 75 minutes as if it was like meat, right? Okay? And before you could start licking on it, you need to heat it up and make sure there's no botulism in it, like anything else that's low acid, like I said. And then, as long as you don't overcook it when you're first starting to heat it up, you'll know as soon as you open it whether it's gone, because my concern would be the oil's gone rancid. Because nobody ever talks about canning oil like this. Chicken fat, turkey fat, this is turkey. You can do this with chicken fat, you can do it with turkey fat, and you know what? You can do it with tallow too. I would definitely think so. So, what I'm trying to say is I brought them out of my room. I brought out 3 of them. Because I'm like, that's looking odd. Look how odd that looks. This one's starting to shake up a little bit because I already flipped it over, right? You don't want turkey grease everywhere. Right? You know? So, I want to try it. And I thought, because I said when I was ready to use it, I'd do a video on it. And I'd let you know if it worked. So that if you ever wanted to do it for yourself, because times got tough, and you didn't have a freezer, or you didn't have room in your freezer, and you wanted to save that turkey fat, or whatever it was, chicken fat, whatever, in a greasy kind of sense, you'll remember my video, and you'll do it for yourself. I don't need to do tallow right now because I've got lots of tallow in a freezer that I can't get to. But I do want to try tallow too. Yeah. But that's after everything's all said and done and put away, and assuming I can still see, then I'll go to the butcher and I'll say, okay, I want some more beef fat because I'm back to rendering it, and I want to try canning it just to see the results of it. There's no rush on that. So that's it for this video. That's how you do a playlist, Lady Jane. And you have to ask yourself why you're doing it. I would think so.